be psychedelic thing, and I said we have to do that some more. So this is what's come out of it. But yeah, it sounds.
Chrissie Hynde was more than just a groundbreaking musician who proved women could lead rock bands with devastating power. The Ohio-born punk priestess who conquered British music with her fierce attitude and uncompromising vision was also known for her brutal hatred toward musicians she considered fraudulent sellouts. The Akron native behind powerful songs was notorious for her take-no-prisoners approach to music and her merciless criticism of what she saw as phony rock posturing. According to various music industry sources and journalist accounts, Hynde had an unforgiving nature that apparently targeted several high-profile artists who crossed her strict authenticity guidelines. She allegedly believed that rock music should come from the streets and mean something real, and she had little patience for what she saw as manufactured rebellion designed for suburban audiences. Here are 6 musicians who reportedly earned Chrissie Hynde's legendary contempt, based on various industry accounts and witness testimonies from the music scene of the 1980s. Billy Idol, from punk to pop sellout. Billy Idol, the sneering punk-turned-pop star with his platinum blonde hair, reportedly earned Chrissie Hynde's savage contempt during his transformation from London punk scene regular to MTV superstar in the early 1980s. The hostility reportedly began after Idol's explosive solo career took off in 1982, when he left behind his punk roots with Generation X for mainstream American success. According to photographer Penny Smith, Hynde allegedly unleashed her fury on fellow London musicians at a Camden pub, reportedly saying that Billy thought spiky hair and a leather jacket automatically made him dangerous. She allegedly accused him of selling out faster than concert tickets, trading genuine punk rebellion for teenage girl screams and video rotation. What absolutely enraged Hynde wasn't simply Idol's commercial breakthrough, but his complete abandonment of punk's core principles. While Hynde remained committed to authentic working-class rebellion and meaningful social commentary, Idol was achieving massive fame with what Hynde reportedly called cartoon punk for American mall kids. In her uncompromising worldview, this sanitized rebellion betrayed everything the movement originally represented. The feud allegedly escalated during a London club encounter, where witnesses claim Hynde refused to acknowledge Idol's presence. She reportedly told her bandmates about her disgust with punk turncoats who traded credibility for American dollars and teenage adoration. For Hynde, Idol represented everything wrong with the commercialization of punk rock, turning a genuine working-class movement into a fashion statement for suburban youth. George Michael, manufactured vulnerability. George Michael, the former Wham heartthrob, who became a solo sensation with his polished vocals and carefully crafted image, reportedly became one of Chrissie Hynde's most despised examples of everything wrong with 1980s music industry manipulation. The animosity reportedly developed during the mid-1980s when George Michael was dominating global charts with his transition from bubblegum pop duo to serious solo artist. According to music writer Steve Sutherland, Hynde allegedly vented her disgust to punk scene veterans at a Notting Hill record shop. She reportedly said that George thought crooning about faith and freedom made him some kind of deep artist, but that his entire career was built on focus group-tested emotions and choreographed sensitivity designed to sell records to housewives and teenagers. What particularly disgusted Hynde wasn't just Michael's commercial success, but his calculated approach to emotional authenticity. While Hynde was pouring genuine life experiences into raw punk compositions about real struggle and defiance, George Michael was achieving superstardom with what Hynde reportedly called manufactured vulnerability. These were polished ballads that, in Hynde's streetwise perspective, exploited people's feelings through market research rather than genuine human connection. Hynde allegedly told a London radio DJ in 1987 that real emotion couldn't be focus grouped and packaged like breakfast cereal. When every tear and every passion is calculated for maximum commercial impact, she reportedly said, "You're not making music anymore, but emotional manipulation." The conflict allegedly peaked during a British Music Awards after-party, where witnesses claim Hynde walked away when someone praised Michael's artistic evolution. Phil Collins. Emotional elevator music. Phil Collins, the Genesis drummer turned solo megastar with his distinctive gated reverb sound and confessional ballads, reportedly drove Chrissie Hynde to absolute fury with his transformation from progressive rock musician into adult contemporary chart dominator during the 1980s. The conflict allegedly intensified after Collins achieved massive success with his divorce-themed album and subsequent MTV-friendly hits. According to magazine editor Matt Snow, Hynde reportedly exploded at fellow musicians at a London recording studio, saying that Phil thought wallowing in his personal problems made him some kind of sensitive artist. She allegedly accused him of turning his midlife crisis into a corporate empire, selling his therapy sessions to middle-aged Americans who thought depression came with a catchy beat. What truly infuriated Hynde wasn't just Collins's commercial dominance, but his complete abandonment of musical risk-taking. While Hynde continued pushing boundaries with aggressive punk rock that challenged social norms, Collins was building his fortune with what Hynde reportedly called emotional elevator music. These sanitized personal confessions, in Hynde's confrontational philosophy, represented the ultimate betrayal of rock music's rebellious spirit. Hynde allegedly believed that when you turn your divorce into easy listening background music, you've missed the entire point of what music can accomplish. The feud allegedly reached its breaking point during a charity concert where witnesses claim Hynde refused to perform on the same bill as Collins, reportedly telling organizers about her unwillingness to validate what she saw as the complete neutering of popular music. Rick Springfield, daytime television rock. Rick Springfield, the Australian actor turned rock star who combined soap opera fame with heartthrob status, reportedly became Chrissie Hynde's most loathed symbol of everything fake about 1980s rock stardom. The animosity allegedly erupted during Springfield's peak popularity in 1981, when he was simultaneously starring on General Hospital and topping charts with his hit songs. According to Rolling Stone correspondent Kurt Loder, Hynde reportedly unleashed her contempt on fellow rockers at a New York punk club. She allegedly said that Rick thought playing a doctor on television qualified him to diagnose what was wrong with rock music, and that his entire career was built on teenage girl fantasies and soap opera acting, not genuine musical talent or authentic life experience. What absolutely disgusted Hynde wasn't just Springfield's dual career success, but his complete lack of street credibility. While Hynde had fought tooth and nail to establish herself as a serious musician in the male-dominated rock world, Springfield was achieving fame with what Hynde reportedly called daytime television rock. This manufactured rebellion, in Hynde's unforgiving worldview, made a mockery of everything real musicians struggled to accomplish. The hatred allegedly became personal during a backstage encounter where witnesses claimed Springfield attempted to introduce himself to Hynde, only to be met with icy silence and a reported comment about refusing to acknowledge television personalities masquerading as rock musicians. For Hynde, Springfield represented the complete commercialization of rock music, where acting ability and television fame mattered more than musical authenticity. Pat Benatar, safe rebellion in sexual packaging. Perhaps the most shocking revelation was Pat Benatar, the powerhouse vocalist who allegedly became the target of Chrissie Hynde's deepest professional jealousy and feminist fury, despite both women breaking barriers for female rock performers during the same era. The rivalry reportedly developed during the late 1970s and early 1980s when both Hynde and Benatar were establishing themselves as prominent female voices in male-dominated rock music. According to journalist Jeff Ginsburg, Hynde reportedly confided her frustration to punk scene allies at a Cleveland club. She allegedly said that Pat thought putting on leather pants and belting out power ballads made her some kind of female rock pioneer, but that she was just giving male record executives exactly what they wanted from women in rock: safe rebellion wrapped in sexual packaging for teenage boys. What truly ate at Hynde was Benatar's mainstream acceptance and approach to female rock stardom. While Hynde was fighting to be taken seriously as a songwriter and musician on her own terms, Benatar was achieving massive success with what Hynde reportedly called male fantasy feminism. These empowering anthems, in Hynde's uncompromising view, still catered to male expectations rather than challenging them. The rivalry reportedly turned deeply personal when both women were constantly compared in music magazines. Industry insiders claimed Hynde became increasingly resentful that Benatar received mainstream acceptance, while Hynde faced constant battles for credibility and respect. This tension revealed Hynde's complex feelings about female representation in rock music, and her belief that true feminist progress required challenging rather than accommodating male expectations. Sting, the ultimate artistic betrayal. Taking the top position as Chrissie Hynde's most despised musician was Sting, the former Police frontman who allegedly became her ultimate example of artistic betrayal through what she saw as pretentious intellectualism, jazz fusion sellout behavior, and shameless abandonment of punk rock principles that originally defined his career. The feud's origins allegedly trace back to the early 1980s when both the Police and the Pretenders emerged from the same British new wave scene with shared punk influences. According to magazine editor Bill Flanagan, Hynde reportedly told fellow punk veterans at a London pub that Gordon, Sting's real name, thought reading a few books about tantric sex and world music made him some kind of artistic genius. She allegedly said he had forgotten that punk was about working-class anger, not upper-class pretension disguised as global consciousness. The breaking point reportedly came when Sting launched his solo career with jazz-influenced albums and intellectual lyrics about literature and spirituality. The animosity reached legendary proportions during the mid-1980s when both artists represented opposite directions for post-punk music. Industry veterans claim Hynde became obsessed with exposing what she saw as Sting's intellectual fraud. Hynde allegedly said at a private musician gathering that the difference between Sting and real artists was that they stayed true to their working-class origins. She reportedly saw his transformation from punk rocker to world music intellectual as the ultimate betrayal of everything the punk movement represented. The final destruction reportedly came during a 1987 music industry awards ceremony, where witnesses claimed Sting dismissed punk rock as primitive music for angry children. This prompted Hynde to allegedly declare him the most successful betrayal of punk principles in British music history. For Hynde, Sting represented not just commercial sellout, but intellectual dishonesty, abandoning the raw honesty of punk for what she saw as pretentious posturing, designed to appeal to critics and sophisticated audiences. The deeper message behind the hatred. These alleged feuds reveal more than just personal animosity between musicians. They expose a fundamental conflict about authenticity, commercialism, and the soul of rock music that defined much of the 1980s music scene. Chrissie Hynde, according to these industry accounts, represented an uncompromising vision of what rock music should be: honest, working class, dangerous, and real. Her reported hatred for these 6 musicians wasn't just about personal dislike, but about what she saw as the systematic destruction of everything that made rock music meaningful. Whether it was Billy Idol's cartoon punk, George Michael's manufactured emotion, Phil Collins's sanitized confessions, Rick Springfield's television rock, Pat Benatar's safe feminism, or Sting's intellectual pretension, Hynde allegedly saw each as representing a different way that authentic rebellion could be packaged, sanitized, and sold to mainstream audiences. The accounts suggest that Hynde believed rock music's power came from its connection to real struggle, genuine emotion, and working-class experience. When artists abandoned these roots for commercial success, television fame, or intellectual credibility, she reportedly saw it as a betrayal not just of their own artistry, but of everyone who looked to rock music for authentic expression and genuine rebellion. These feuds, if true, also reveal the intense pressure faced by artists in the 1980s as the music industry became increasingly commercialized and MTV changed how music was marketed and consumed. The tension between artistic integrity and commercial success that allegedly drove Hynde's hatred continues to influence debates about authenticity in popular music today. Whether these accounts are entirely accurate or partially embellished by music industry gossip, they paint